Live images from Gaza reveal the aftermath of fresh Israeli airstrikes overnight. Reports indicate at least 13 people, including women and children, have been killed, this according to Gaza's civil defense. Smoke rising over Gaza. Black smoke billows from multiple locations across Gaza, following intensified Israeli bombardments. The escalation comes after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to continue military operations against Hamas with growing intensity. Protests in Israel, crowds marching in Jerusalem. Meanwhile, protests erupt in Israel. Families of the remaining 59 hostages taken on October 7 demand action, as Netanyahu's approach faces increasing domestic criticism. Israeli Defense Forces briefing. Following the end of the recent ceasefire, Israel launched a wave of airstrikes, reportedly killing over 400 people. Hamas claims senior political figures were among the dead. The Israeli military states their strikes targeted Hamas positions, including suspected launch sites and maritime assets. Interview with Middle East correspondent in Jerusalem. Correspondent, Yolande Nell. The ceasefire was effectively shattered by yesterday's bombardment, marking one of the deadliest days since the conflict began. Strikes have continued overnight, targeting multiple locations across Gaza. The Israeli government insists these operations are necessary to pressure Hamas into releasing hostages. Families of hostages. Despite Israeli claims of strategic targeting, concerns are mounting over civilian casualties. The families of hostages fear the renewed offensive could jeopardize negotiations for their release. Interview with Oliver Mernon, conflict resolution expert. This escalation appears politically motivated. Netanyahu is under immense pressure to pass his budget before March. If he fails, new elections may be called, jeopardizing his leadership. Meanwhile, international intervention, particularly from figures like Donald Trump, may play a role in shaping what happens next. With global attention divided between the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine, diplomatic efforts remain uncertain. Critics warn that military pressure alone may not lead to a resolution. Narrator: as airstrikes persist and protests intensify, the future remains uncertain. The humanitarian toll continues to rise, leaving millions in Gaza trapped in an unfolding crisis. Text overlay: for more updates, subscribe, and stay informed.